3 groundbreaking choices that lead to happiness and joy. I'll always be grateful for being blessed with a happy attitude. It's heard everywhere these days that we can't change everything, but we can change our attitude. And it's true. Viktor Frankl is a hero of mine. Does everyone know Viktor Frankl? An Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist, and also a concentration camp survivor. He said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. I first read his book, Man's Search for Meaning, back in like 1994, I think, and now all these years later, I've learned so much. So many years ago, I heard that love is a decision, and I believed it, that we choose who we love. But now I've really realized that life is all about choices, and the choices that I've made have really made me happy. I believe it can all be summed up in 3 choices. Choose to believe that your value isn't on the line. Your journey is a perfect classroom journey, and God or the universe is conspiring for your good. Have you ever been humiliated, embarrassed? Well, with MS, we have so much to be embarrassed about. Falling, forgetting, looking like a drunk. Incontinence is a subject of its own. I remember when I was flying to Michigan and I couldn't walk through the airport security, so I had to be patted down. As the officer felt a lump in my pocket, she asked what that is, and I told her that's my embarrassment. As I pulled out a poison continence pad, she said, no, not having that would be embarrassment. Well, I just have to tell you that depends isn't dependable, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But even so, disposable underwear does help. It's just embarrassing when they're called diapers. I remember my first serious MS attack. I barely could get out of bed. After having mega doses of steroids, Solumedrol, I was up and walking, but the damage was done. I wrote like a preschooler and I spoke like a drunk woman. When I sent a note to the kids' teachers at school, I had to call and tell them that it was really me writing it. And when I called the carpenter or furniture maker to make some bench seats for the dining room table, I sounded like a drunk woman. After a few minutes, I was so embarrassed, I had to tell him, I'm not drunk. I just had an MS attack and my speech was affected. He chuckled and said, oh, I was wondering. You guys can feel it, huh? You've had it. Now I want to share with you some principles of human behavior that's going to help you understand yourself and other people at a whole new level. Everyone on this planet is scared to death every day of one of these 2 things. 1, we're all scared we aren't good enough, a fear of failure. And 2, we're scared of loss. Basically, all things that can go wrong and make our life not good enough. It doesn't matter how good your parents were. They were full of fear themselves, or how good you were as a child. You were taught to conform or suppress who you really are. You were taught to feel small and insecure. You might have learned other lessons, the fear of failing, the fear of success, conforming to get along. These lessons you picked up as a child that have led you to behaviors that you're still seeing as an adult. Neurologists have said that 80% of our behavior is what we do because of fear. Think a different behavior of yourself and other people and see if you can figure out what fear is being felt. What about a jealous person? Is it a fear of failure or a fear of loss? I think it could be either, but probably a fear of loss. How about a show-off? Yes, they're probably afraid of failing. Control, a controlling person. It could be a fear of loss. How about an angry person? That's another one. It could be either or, but I'm thinking if they're really mad, they could likely be feeling a fear of failure. The first groundbreaking choice that leads to happiness and joy is to believe that your value isn't on the line, that you're unchangeable. Nothing that you do or have done or has been done to you can change your value. Your value is infinite and absolute. You are a one-of-a-kind, irreplaceable, unduplicatable individual. And let me tell you my diamond story. Okay, when I was first starting out, when I started having kids, I took a home organization class, and I really became, I considered myself a professional homemaker. I was really good at it. I could keep my house tidy and my kids all under control, and everything was really good, and I recognized that I gained my self-esteem from my ability to manage my home. And then when I got sick, I could barely get out of bed, and my house went to pot, my kids were a mess, and I really recognized that my self-esteem was really diminished. So I picked up a different attitude, and I decided to get into personal growth and development. And I started to master introspection and becoming a better person. And I looked at everything as, every time I experienced success in something, it was like I was peeling a layer off an onion, and I was happy and I was doing really well and everything was good, and there was always another layer of onions. And so then I would just continue on and get better and become happier and do more, and pretty soon it got discouraging, because I kept thinking there must be something underneath all of these layers of onions. And I was praying in church one day, and I had my head bowed, and I just prayed, Heavenly Father, please tell me what is in my soul, what is in the middle of all of these onion peels or layers. And I swear I had a vision, and my eyes opened up, and I could see that inside all of these layers of onions, I was a diamond. There was a beautiful, irreplaceable, wonderful diamond. And I just knew that that is what is inside of me. And I knew that the people to the right of me had diamonds, and the people to the left, and people in front, and people in back, that we all are truly diamonds. And I became a master observer, like a mouse in my pocket. I started paying attention to what was going on around me, what I was doing and what other people were doing. And I looked at it in a not judgmental way, but just with curiosity, seeing what we're all doing. And it just was amazing to me. And I really saw that this is the way it is, that these fears that we have, that these layers of onions that just cover our diamond, these fears started when we were a child. Everyone around you was saying that you need to be different. Don't do that. Don't be like that. You need to be different than this. And you hear it so often that you really get the message that maybe what you are isn't right. It isn't adequate. It isn't enough. And then as you get older, it just gets worse. You go to junior high, and you're not pretty enough or smart enough, fast enough. And I hope that as an adult I wouldn't battle anymore. But as an adult, it gets even worse. There are even more layers that you cannot fail on, because you fail in your career, in your marriage, and as a parent. We're afraid of losing. We're afraid of losing the people we love. We can lose money, our reputation, and for us, it's our health. I think all of us have thought that we've made wrong decisions and that we've ruined everything, and it's never going to be what it is, what it should have been. So this fear of loss kind of haunts us. You are subconsciously taught to believe that your value is in question, and that you have to prove you even have any value. You were taught to believe that your value as a person depended on 4 things: your appearance, your performance, what you have, and what other people think of you. And those things create a whole lot of fear. And you're always afraid you don't look good enough, perform well enough, and that it matters what other people think. These 2 fears motivate a lot of our behavior. Like I said, 80%. So much of our energy is spent to quiet these fears. We work hard to accomplish things to make these fears go away. Most of these fears happen at a subconscious level, and your subconscious mind was programmed before you were 5. You don't realize this is happening, but it's playing out in your subconscious every day. Your subconscious mind and your conscious mind are just two spheres of the same mind. Your conscious mind is like the tip of the iceberg. Your subconscious is the giant piece under the water. Your subconscious is what takes care of bodily functions, digestion, breathing, and heartbeat. It reacts to what is recorded on. It's your autopilot. It's faster, and that's what's causing most of the problems all through your life. You've been making rules or policies in your mind about who you are and about the world. When you were a child, you heard things like, "What will the neighbors think?" "Oh, so you mean I should be worried about what other people think of me? So I'll spend the rest of my life worried about that?" We all got the subconscious fear that it matters what other people think about us. We have a lot of these fear-based rules that are playing out in our minds subconsciously. Our subconscious mind moves really fast, so when I'm out in public and I trip and fall, I immediately feel stupid. My face turns red. I don't decide to feel that way. I didn't mean to feel that way, but boom, that's exactly where my head went. The real cool thing is that your subconscious mind, that your conscious mind, even though it's smaller, is more powerful. If you consciously choose to feel differently in any moment, you can override that program that doesn't serve you. Let me give you an example. I made a new rule in my life that what other people think of me is irrelevant because I'm the same me no matter what they think. It's time to take charge of your heads. Reclaim the power to choose your mindset. The second groundbreaking choice that leads to happiness and joy is to choose to believe your life is a perfect classroom journey. It's a classroom, not a testing center. What is the purpose and point of life on this planet? What's the point of this journey? Regardless of what country people are from, their culture, religion, or background, people think our purpose in life is to learn and grow and make the world a better place. This seems to be something hardwired within us, and we know we're on the planet to develop and grow and try to become the best version of ourselves that we can be, and we all feel it. That is a truth that is inside of us. We're here to serve and help and lift as many as people as we can along the way. So how do those ideas feel to you? Do you think that we're on the planet to learn and love? And maybe more specifically, to learn to love? I really feel this is a principle of truth. If that's true, that means that life is a school. We basically have been sent to college. And the question is, what kind of school is this? This is either a testing center or a classroom. What if you went to school the first day and you were given a test and the teacher said, "Good luck, that counts on your grade"? And the second thing, the same thing happens. And the third and the fourth and the fifth. How would you feel about that school? You probably wouldn't like it. What's missing? The curriculum. They have to teach you something, the material, right? We have to take time to learn before the test, don't we? You've been taught since you were a small child that life is a test, and your value is on the line every day. You've been taught that every day is another chance to fail. And we know this because this is how we feel every day. We feel like we're not good enough. So we've been seeing life as a test. I don't think that's a truth. I think that's what we learned, but I don't think it's a truth. I think we have another option. We could see life as a classroom. Just like in elementary school when we were given problems and we did the work and the teacher looked at it and it was wrong, we could erase it and try it again. That's the learning process. There's lessons, and you can make mistakes, but they don't count against your grade. Mistakes don't count against your value. You have the opportunity every moment, every day to decide how you're going to see your life. You get to choose if your life is a classroom or a test. The two core fears, one, that I might not be good enough, or two, my life might be good enough, could be changed to a new perspective of, one, your value isn't on the line. And 2, that your life is a perfect classroom and every experience is an amazing lesson. The problem is that our subconscious programming of fear of failure is so fast and it becomes our autopilot, so it happens all day long. In order to change it, you're going to have to practice consciously choosing a different way to see yourself and your life. And you're going to have to choose it every minute of every day. But you can do it. And what we're going to do is consciously choose to trust 2 very specific things. But these things are going to require you to let go of some shame-based, some false beliefs that you've held without knowing that you've been holding them. I know it sounds hard, and we've lived with insecurity and self-doubt our whole life. It almost feels impossible to trust that your value is actually safe and it's not on the line, but you can do it. It will just take a little work and practice, and you can do it. If this is the first time you've heard this principle, I'm going to encourage you to keep thinking about it. And you might want to take out some paper and write an official policy that from now on, you're going to see life as a classroom and not as a test. The 3rd groundbreaking principle is to choose, that leads to happiness and joy, is to choose to believe that God or the universe is conspiring for our good. When fear is rampant in your subconscious mind, it skews the way you see and experience your life. It undermines your self-worth and wreaks havoc in your relationships. In order to create the success and happiness you desire, you have to see your life accurately. Is life a random set of accidents and mistakes? Or does it have purpose you can count on? You have another faulty belief you learned as a child, to see the universe as chaotic, meaningless, random happenstance, a set of accidents and mistakes. It feels like walking on a tightrope with no safety net. But that doesn't sound like what I know. I see perfect order with meaning and purpose that we can count on. I think we are co-creators of our perfect classroom journey. God, or the universe, has the ultimate say, and is much smarter and more perfect than we realize, is a wise teacher, and works with our agency to create our perfect classroom journey. Not easy. But you won't lose or gain anything unless it would serve you to lose or gain it. But I believe there is order in the universe. Everything happens for a reason. Again, you won't lose or gain anything unless it would serve you to lose it or gain it. I can't prove it, but you can't prove otherwise. At the end of the day, it's my choice. Will I see everything that happens as an opportunity to learn and grow from? If life is a classroom and not a test, and your value isn't in question at all, and these things that happen to you, your upbringing, all the mistakes you make, or even what others think of you, are just lessons in the classroom, which don't affect your value at all. Think about it. They're all here to teach you to love yourself, God, and others at a deeper level, to learn forgiveness and trust, to learn forgiveness of people and trust in God or the universe. We can't always trust people, but we can forgive them. In order to get rid of these 2 core fears, you must change the beliefs and attitudes that create the fears. Your perfect journey doesn't mean it's someplace you should stay. It's something that might need to be fixed so you can move forward and make changes. We can trust the journey. It is as it should be. It's a safety net, exactly as it is supposed to be. As we're experiencing health issues, there's a reason in this for us. I believe every day it creates a perfect lesson. Life is a classroom, and if health problems is your current class, there's a reason you're here. There's something this experience can teach you that you apparently need to learn. If you see your illness as a class and focus on the character development it could bring you, it will change the way you experience it. This is truth. Suffering builds character and compassion, and in the end, it makes you stronger and better. If you focus every day on how your current experience could improve your character or allow you to help other people, you will suffer less. I promise. Viktor Frankl said, "In some way, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds meaning." And this is profoundly true. Try it. Fill your life with happiness and joy. Make these groundbreaking choices. I want you to take home today this very important thing. After you give yourself a chance to mourn, which you will do, because loss of health is a loss, you have it within you to choose a positive, determined, healthy mindset so you can thrive in spite of the challenge. Believe your value isn't on the line. Your journey is a perfect classroom, and God conspires for your good. Vivian Green said, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain." For many of us, the storm isn't going anywhere, so we need to start dancing. Every time these things happen, I can resist what is and suffer the loss of my expectation, or I can trust the journey. We can become our best advocates. Knowledge is power. Find a doctor you like and believe in. It's amazing when we let go of the victim mentality and master these 3 groundbreaking choices. Believe your value isn't on the line, your journey is a perfect classroom journey, and the God or the universe conspire for your good. You'll have the energy to open your minds to other opportunities. I'm here to tell you one thing that I know for certain. Like Marcus Aurelius says, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. C.C. Scott said, "The human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it." I believe this is true. So the first thing I want you to know is that you can choose joy in spite of living with MS, and you can beat discouragement most of the time. Every moment you have 2 choices, fear and loss and suffering, or trust. How do you want to live? We will realize that even though our life looks different than we planned, it can sincerely be filled with happiness and joy. Often in life we have no control over our situation, but we always have control over how we will experience it. Kimberly Giles is an amazing woman who is the creator and founder of the Clarity Point system. I am now certified as a Clarity Point life coach. I make living happily with MS attainable as I use these revolutionary science and psychology to change the way you think and see the world. Because when you see yourself in your world accurately, your attitude changes. Lots of coaches teach mindset and positivity, but the Clarity Point system is different. Our program goes about it from a completely different level. We're working on core beliefs that are so far under the surface that you don't even realize you have them. Nevertheless, these beliefs influence the way you feel about yourself, see everything in your world, and especially your life with multiple sclerosis. The Clarity Point system gives you information a little at a time with tools and formulas to internalize this information on a subconscious level. As your coach, I'll be your greatest cheerleader every step of the way. MS affects everyone so differently, but brain fog and confusion are common and cause us to doubt ourselves. This science-based system tweaks the underlying core beliefs that create our doubt and fear so that we'll be more secure in decision-making processes. These tools also help us develop self-discipline to take control of our diet and exercise routine. As our self-care improves and our trust in ourselves to make decisions increases, it's easier to allow laughter to return to our lives. Clarity Point is a revolutionary approach that uses science, psychology, and technology to literally measure the subconscious programs in our head, to understand our subconscious thought processes, fears that are driving our behavior. As we use these tools that are provided in Clarity Point, we'll eliminate fear, we'll learn valuable communication and relationship skills, and we'll be helped to think clearly so that we can create the life we want and deserve. So if you're interested in taking the fear assessment, then just go to the link at the top of the screen, at the top of the slide, and fill out your email address, and you'll be sent your results, and I'll be sent a copy of your results, and then I will contact you so that we can set up an appointment to be able to talk about the results. And Kimberly has written a book, Choosing Clarity, and you can get it on Amazon by the link that's on the slide. And then if you want to visit me on Facebook, go to msrelief.com on Facebook, or MS Relief on Facebook, and I'll see you there. Okay, just remember that every moment of every day you have two choices: fear and loss and suffering, or trust. So you decide, how do you want to live? Okay, so I'll see you soon.